Hey guys, Jay! Welcome back to the channel. So, I'm a little late on this one, guys, but I figured because there's something I really wanted to talk about with this particular release, I wanted to take a deep dive into the already announced 85th anniversary Marvel Legends figures, which are being released later this year. One particular figure set, I'll put it that way, really caught my attention, and I want to talk about that. So let's take a deep dive and talk about the releases that were announced during the Marvel Legends livestream, because one of them really has my head ablaze. Let's have a look, everybody. Guys, this news comes to us from news.toyark.com. They're a great resource for toy news all year round. Definitely give them a like and a follow. Tell them that Jay sent you. So I know I'm a bit late on this one, but I did want to talk about a few things which I kind of, sort of said earlier in other videos, and I really wanted to reinforce some of the points that I had regarding specific characters and their releases. So, as many of you might know, the Marvel Legends stream for April 15th, I really did enjoy some of the characters that were released, but one of them in particular really caught my attention, and not for all of the right reasons, let's be perfectly honest. So I just wanted to take a deep dive into this and, explore what exactly was kind of on my mind that day when I finally saw that this character was released. Over at news.toyark.com, they have posted the Marvel Legends 85th anniversary figures, official pics, and info. Holy crap, has it already been 85 years? Man, Marvel is going crazy, and they really are bringing in some heavy hitters for this particular release. Let's have a look, guys. As we can see here, this collection is pretty diverse, and a wonderful celebration of a lot of the Marvel characters that have come throughout the years. The first one we're going to take a look at, of course, is the 2-pack of Iron Fist and Luke Cage. This is a great set for anybody who is a classic version collector of Marvel Legends. These guys really do look like the, I'd say, 80s or 90s versions of the characters, and it's really great to see them in this form. Particularly Luke Cage, who I think a lot of people were really excited to see this version coming out. Here is Iron Fist, and he has the Iron Fist blast effect. Of course, he is a martial arts expert, and it really does show in this particular character. Wonderful articulation with the character, with the butterfly joints, the multi-segmented ab crunch, and of course, those expressions. And it's my understanding that he has a host of different hand effects, all martial arts types of poses. And look at those crazy legs. Yep, this is definitely the classic version of Iron Fist. Love to see him this way. Here they are standing together, Iron Fist and Luke Cage looks absolutely badass. This is the one where he's wearing more of a really tight-fitting shirt, and he does look like just a regular street brawler who's really out for business, but at the same time, you do not want to mess with Luke Cage. He's got those knuckle dusters on, Luke Cage, and of course, he just looks like a regular human being, but if you mess with him, you realize very, very quickly that he is more than meets the eye. I really love these new additional hand gestures that Iron Fist has. He looks amazing. And of course, the swappable heads with his screaming head and now with his more stoic look. He really does look like he just jumped off of the pages of an Iron Fist comic book. It's amazing. Luke Cage, of course, is really dominant here. And check out those knuckle dusters. Luke Cage, you cannot mistake this man being the badass that he is. And this brand new sculpt is really going to be a fan favorite for fans collecting this version of Luke Cage. He is an impressive figure, and he can swap out those hands. One is a bit of a splayed hand, the other one's a bit of a gripping hand. I do love this version of Luke Cage, very classic. If you've been following the comics, these guys are definitely going to be on everyone's radar if you are a fan of this dynamic duo. And I know a lot of people are going to be waiting for these pre-orders to drop as soon as they hit. Iron Fist and Luke Cage 85th Anniversary Edition will be available for $49.99 in the summer of 2024. This one will be a retailer exclusive and will be available to pre-order this April 23rd at 1 p.m. at Hasbro Pulse, Amazon, and additional major retailers. I will have links in the description below when they hit the Entertainment Earth affiliate links. I really appreciate it, guys, and it really does help out the channel. Moving on to, this one's kind of a head scratcher for me. This is codename Warbird, but it's Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel. I mean, her outfit hasn't even changed. I'm not sure if anybody can explain this to me. This is pretty much just Carol Danvers, exactly the way she looks as Captain Marvel in her black suit. I mean, she looks great. The new head sculpt looks amazing. but it's Carol Danvers. I mean, she has the butterfly joints, she has the new sculpt, pinless elbows, pinless knees. So, I mean, yeah, she's definitely an updated figure, 100%. And I think a lot of fans are going to want to pick up this character. But for me, it really is just that head scratching moment. You know, is this a new character? Apparently not, but she goes under the codename Warbird, which is very, very strange. I don't know if it was a licensing issue. Maybe they were just getting confused with the original Carol Danvers in the movies. I'm not really too sure. She comes with this blast effect on both of her hands, which is amazing. But yeah, it's Carol Danvers with a brand new female buck and articulation. So she definitely is one of those figures that people are going to want to collect for sure, with her two different expressions for head sculpts, and she does look stunning, to be perfectly honest with you. Carol Danvers, Warbird. Again, I'm not sure about this character. I know very little about her. After all, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel. There's so many different iterations of the character, and now we're finally understanding that there is actually a Warbird character. Again, very, very confusing, but at the end of the day, she is being released as Warbird, so you can look forward to her on her release. Marvel's Warbird 85th Anniversary Edition will be $24.99, available summer 2024. And looking at the release date, it's available later this year exclusively at Target, so pre-order info will be coming soon. Hopefully, they will also have links at HasbroPulse.com for anybody who can't get it at Target. The next character I really have absolutely no idea about. I did not read Son of Hulk or Planet Hulk, but this is Scar. And honestly, as a huge Barbarian fan, sword and sorcery fan, he looks pretty badass. He looks like sort of an ogre type of character, but with long hair and a really cool looking face. Yeah, man, like he's a really cool, beefy character, and I really enjoy that. I love the way he looks, all of his accessories, of course. Master Universe, he would fit right in. He could be like the son of Megator. I don't know. It could be anything, right? He looks pretty badass as it is. I love the long hair, all of those tattoos, the straps, which again are very reminiscent of the Master Universe, so he looks awesome. The furry loincloth, come on. Those knuckle dusters, actually they're more like, I guess, back of the palm covers? I don't know what those are. Those aren't really knuckle dusters. He does have pinned knees, though. That's kind of weird at this stage, but he does have pinless elbows as well, so very cool to see this version of the character. Again, he would really fit in well in Master Universe. He even has a sword. I didn't think Hulks used swords, but I guess in the world where he lives in, it must really be a savage land. He also has a huge sword. The other one was more of a dagger now that I'm looking at it compared to this beast. Oh my god. This is literally, actually, it's less of a sword, more just a piece of, I guess, shard metal. like, seriously, that thing looks like he broke it off of something and just keeps using it either as a bludgeoning device, or I guess it has a bit of an edge and just slicing people in half. Seriously, this guy looks absolutely badass, and I have to say, this is probably my more favorite head sculpt, because he's got this grimacing, this determined look. The other one is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit more stoic, looking a little bit calm. I think Hulk always looks better when he's pissed off. Here is Scar raising his sword aloft, almost Master Universe style. I really do like this character in his overall iteration. Again, I know very little about Scar or the Son of Hulk. He did have his own Scar Son of Hulk comic book series, and this was quite some time ago, back in 2008, and he does look pretty cool in this environment. Again, I love the axe, I love the sword, very much in the style of Conan the Barbarian, Master Universe. I love it. Scar, Son of Hulk, Marvel 85th Anniversary Edition will be $39.99. He is a beefy boy, and available in the summer of 2024. This one will be available later this year, exclusively to Hasbro Pulse and additional fan channels, so I will have links for Scar in the description below when he hits Entertainment Earth. Guys, get ready, because Scar is coming to Marvel Legends. This is one that really kind of is a head scratcher for me, all things considered. When I heard that Dr. Octopus was impersonating Spider-Man at some degree, I was really confused. I never read the comics. I sort of got weirded out when I realized maybe he was getting, a little close to Mary Jane Watson. Again, I had no idea what was really going on with this character. Here he is, though, Dr. Octopus as Spider-Man. I think this is Superior Spider-Man. I believe that's what he's called. He's got Dr. Octopus's tentacles, as you can see here, augmented to look more like the Iron Spider, which is probably exactly what he was going for. The deco looks really neat, very much in line with what it looked like in the comics. You can see those visors, which again are what Dr. Octopus actually uses to see. And yeah, he looks pretty badass. You can see the forearm gauntlets, and that black and red suit really is very, very cool. I believe it was one of the guys on the stream said, if you can't get him into this particular pose, don't even bother. And honestly, they did it. This looks amazing. And he really is pretty much jumping off of the comic book pages. Sorry, I said screen earlier, but yeah, he looks like he just jumped out of the comic book page. It's amazing. He does really look like an interesting looking Spider-Man. I mean, in the host of different Spider-Man throughout the multiverses. But yeah, interesting to see this version coming in to Marvel Legends. Those tentacles really do add a sort of dynamic stature to Spider-Man. He's had a couple of these, of course, with the Iron Spider, as well as other iterations, but this one looks really, really natural. And again, really falls in line with Doc Ock. And he is already available for pre-order right now on Entertainment Earth. I already have links in the description below where you guys can pre-order Superior Spider-Man for your very own. Well, guys, we're getting another Wolverine. I think Wolverine and Batman really do have the spotlight between the two different companies for comics. This Wolverine is the more recent of the Wolverines, I think. He's got that new suit with the blue and yellow trim. He looks pretty cool, I have to say, and another one to add to your collection if you're a huge Wolverine fan, which there are many. He looks really cool here. The head is a brand new head sculpt. The mask is a little shorter in terms of the tips on the wings, and is really in line with the current version of the Wolverine designs. I love the belt. I love the claws. They really are hearkening to Logan in this version. He's got new fists and pointing. I guess that's a pointing hand? That's interesting. I wonder if he did a lot of pointing in the current iterations of the comics. It's really a lot of fun. He also has an unmasked head, and we can see this version of Wolverine is a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and he's got that more flat top of his hair, maybe to coincide with his new mask. This version of Wolverine is definitely one that a lot of people are going to be gunning for. Wolverine is looking sharp and will be available in this version for pre-order on Entertainment Earth. Guys, please use the affiliate links in the description below. It helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And now we come down to the figure, which honestly I have a little bit more of an opinion on this one. Yeah, guys, I was expecting this eventually, but I guess now is a better time to talk about it than any. Yeah, in time for the 85th anniversary releases, we have Danny Ketch as Ghost Rider. This is one, I have to admit, I was expecting this to be the Ghost Rider that we got in the 80th anniversary, or at least a collection of them. I said that multiple times when the Engine of Vengeance was announced, and I always thought that this version of Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider, with his motorcycle would have been absolutely incredible. But at the same time, he really is more suited to a retail release, so I'm glad to see that he was not crowdfunded. There are a lot of things to take into this, and I wanted to take a deeper dive into the bike. The bike is absolutely badass. This version of Danny Ketch with this version of his bike is so iconic. A lot of us growing up in the 80s and 90s, this was the Ghost Rider we grew up with. And with the flame effects, the overall look of the bike, Danny Ketch sitting on top, this is like a dream come true for Ghost Rider fans. This looks absolutely amazing. That bike is so iconic. Here he is doing the Akira slide. This is awesome. I love the fact that they put this one together. Such an iconic pose for anyone growing up during the 90s. This is amazing. You can see some of the wonderful detail in the shield on the front of the bike. It's even got some pitting all over the place. Of course, Hellfire is rough on materials, so this is one that really showcases all the wonderful details in this particular bike. I'm not sure you could actually get into this pose without some sort of like putty, but I love the fact that they were actually able to do it in this shot. It's beautiful. Danny Ketch himself looks menacing. I love this new version of Ghost Rider with the skull face. It is very different from the classic card edition, which was released earlier last year, and this one is going to be a really sought after edition for Ghost Rider. The details are amazing. We can see the flames inside of the speedometer, the fuel gauge, and the tachometer. We see the logo that's emblazoned on the gas cap itself. Of course, the shield in the front, as well as the motorcycle details. This is just amazing. Now, there is something to be said about the flames. A lot of people have been mentioning that some of the flames look a little bit soft, and I can understand where people are coming from. This one in particular, compared to the Engine of Vengeance, yes, it does look a little bit more sculpted, but I think that's come in line with the actual wheels themselves. I'm not 100% sure if the wheels spin, but if they do, then that would explain why they look the way they do. They need to be more rounder so that they can actually spin on the wheel itself. But I do have to say that the lower wheels, which are able to hold the figure in place, they look amazing, and the wonderful translucency in them is just top-notch. It should also be noted that there actually is a secondary piece which allows you to get this bike up on its rear wheel and really getting that impressive wheelie pose that everyone wants for their Ghost Rider. This is awesome. Danny Ketch himself looks incredible. He's got that wonderful chain whip. It's a great new sculpt for Ghost Rider. At $49.99, that's a great value for this particular figure, I think. And he will be available to pre-order on April 30th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad Toy Store, and Entertainment Earth. I will have links to pre-order on Entertainment Earth because this guy is definitely not one to be missed. And as I said earlier, I really do think this is what we should have received in the HasLab, along with the two other iconic Ghost Riders with a horse and, of course, Johnny Blaze. Those would have been amazing. But I'm still so glad to be able to see that Johnny Blaze, Danny Ketch, is coming to Marvel Legends for their 85th anniversary. Marvel Legends continues to kill it, guys, and Danny Ketch is leading the way in 2024. Yeah, guys, I just have to come out and say it. I mean, I have not been shy about talking about my opinion that Danny Ketch, Johnny Blaze, and I can't remember the other Ghost Rider's name, but I think that those guys should have been the principal characters in the 80th anniversary edition of the Ghost Rider HasLab. I figured way back, and I said it when I saw the Engine of Vengeance, that if we had two bikes and a horse, that would have been freaking amazing, and I think a lot of people would have jumped on that immediately. And it's unfortunate that the Engine of Vengeance did not actually make its minimum funding goal, but when you're asking about anniversary for Ghost Rider, you really are looking to the history of the character, not its future. Although, I do have to say that Robbie Reyes is an amazing character in and of itself, and the Engine of Vengeance was incredible. It just did not hit the mark with fans of Ghost Rider who know the history of the character. And I'm so glad to see that Danny Ketch is finally getting his own due in 2024. Also, all the other characters that were released during this wave are absolutely amazing. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what were your thoughts about Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider, being released in this iteration for the 85th anniversary of Marvel Legends. Are you guys excited about this? Because I sure am. I love the way the bike looks. I love the character himself. He looks absolutely amazing. And of course, the other characters in the line. What are your thoughts about those being released during this time? Or are you guys kind of marveled out at this point, and the fact that they keep re-releasing characters, that we've already gotten throughout the years? We have a ton of Wolverines. We have a ton of Spider-Man, although this one is unique in so much that it is Superior Spider-Man. And of course, Luke Cage and Iron Fist have been released a bunch of times. Carol Danvers as Warbird, again, kind of confusing in my opinion. Let me know those comments in the comment section below, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please do leave me a like. It really does help me out. And if you're in the position to help out the channel, please consider checking out my Patreon page. It's Mega J Retro on Patreon. Guys, the patrons and channel members of this channel help me make wonderful episodes every single week, and I couldn't do it without them. They are the best. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. It really means the world to me. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey, everybody. Geek proud.